This is Brian Rowe with Mythic MTG Tech here, doing a deck tech with Affinity.
I'm Valbaca, playing a red-blue-green Affinity. The thing I want to do is attack with 4/4s, namely Myr Enforcer and Carapace Forger. Other than that, I get to cast spells for very cheap and draw more cards than my opponent. Obviously, Affinity is a popular deck in many formats, and Pauper, it does basically the same thing. It wants to cast things for free or for little to nothing, taking advantages of the synergy of the Affinity mechanic.
So how fast is this deck?
It is not as fast as the Modern version, so that's definitely something, if someone were picking this up from Modern, is they have to kind of dial it back for Pauper, but it can quickly drop a 4/4 on turn 2 or 3, and quickly shore up a match.
So what have you got in here for removal?
So the main removal is Galvanic Blast. It's basically it. Other than that, you want to be the person with the biggest creatures. I guess the other thing would be Fling, but you rarely want to use that to actually kill a creature. It's mainly deal damage to target player.
And what do you end up flinging with this deck?
The other namesake of the deck is Atog, and the main thing you want to be flinging is Atog. Atog is a 2-mana 1/2, which you can sacrifice an artifact to pump +2/+2. Typically you want to pump him before combat, leave up enough mana to fling him after combat as well, basically effectively doing double the damage.
And what do you have in this deck in the way of card advantage or to keep yourself going?
Oh, so the way we keep ourselves going, because Affinity is known for spitting out its hand very quickly, is Chromatic Star, Prophetic Prism, Perilous Research, and Thoughtcast. All of these kind of keep us going. The really good interaction is Chromatic Star plus Atog, because even if you get into the late game where the mana doesn't really matter, you can still sacrifice to Atog, get the pump, and still get card. So you basically cast a 0-mana spell that pumped your creature and drew you a card.
Excellent. So what are you really going after with the sideboard here?
Sideboard is pretty diverse. I have Pyroblast for the Delver decks. I have Ancient Grudge, 4 Ancient Grudge for the mirror match. 3 Relic of Progenitus for the Familiars deck. I can hit their graveyard. Hydroblast for any kind of burn, and then Electrickery for just any kind of smaller decks. You can even hit a Delver with that every now and then.
So what do you think your best matchup is and your worst matchup?
The one thing I really like about Affinity is it's kind of one of those 50-50 decks where a lot of matchups are about 50-50. There's not really many that are very skewed. I am most worried about Familiars, mainly because I mostly play online and I haven't had a lot of experience with the matchup. So I'm really hoping to just rely on my Galvanic Blast to kill their recurs really quickly and Relic of Progenitus to keep their combo from getting online. Other than that, the thing I really want to do is just turn the corner quickly with the Myr Enforcers and Forgers, who are basically my Tarmogoyfs in Pauper.
Any advice that you give to somebody just playing this for the first time?
Take your time and very carefully count your artifacts every single turn. You don't want to make any mistakes with slipping up with mana. Know your affinity count. It's really just it's a very math-based deck. So
almost worth having a die there to keep track.
Exactly. Yeah. I actually would recommend against the dice just because that gives your opponent information.
That's true.
I mean, not that you're like trying to hide artifacts or anything like that. It is derived knowledge, though.
Okay.
And just never give up. There's so many times where you can look dead on board and then quickly like top deck an Atog, top deck a Fling, and now you have the game. Your opponent can quickly go from 12 to 0.
Atog Fling is just amazing amounts of damage very quickly. So what is your prediction for what's going to win the tournament today?
Like everybody else, I do think that Familiars will win, but I'm hoping to get in the top 8 at least.
Okay. Well, good luck. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you.
A special thanks to Valbaca for this interview. Also, thank you to everybody who's over there on Patreon making the channel possible. I greatly appreciate it. Until next time, this has been Brian Rowe with Mythic MTG Tech. Use the cards wisely.